one murder they did in particular, right? That, well, there was one kid that they should have never was Mark Ryder's son. They should have never killed that kid.
Why is that?
Why
is that?
Because the kid was a good kid. Good kid. The father, man's man. The father, Mark Ryder. You ever heard of him?
I can't think. I don't know.
Okay, so Mark Ryder was around John Gotti and that crew. Gene Gotti, all those guys. And he was like in control of all the Babanya. He was pushed a lot of Babanya, a lot of heroin. Big money maker. He's like, I would compare him to the King of New York. You know that movie?
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
That's an old movie.
Yeah, one of my favorites.
That's a good one.
He dealt with Nicky Barnes. He dealt with from the wholesale to the retail. Big, tall, good-looking guy. Drove a Mercedes, like a 500 SL. And how I know, well, he was in jail. The reason why we know Mark so good is because he was in jail with my uncle. And then he went to the halfway house with my Uncle Lewis, my father's brother. So he was very close to Lewis, Mark. And Mark could have got probably 8 years on a plea. But John Gotti, back then, everybody's got to go to trial. Nobody pleads guilty. They literally could have got like 8 or 10 years. Gene Gotti, him, that whole drug case. Goes and gets life. Does his time, dies in jail. His son, now Mark Ryder's Jewish, but like I said, half Jewish, half Italian. His last name was Reiter. His son Craig Ryder, I think I got the right one because he had 2 sons. I met him once in Stringfellows. There's a club I used to go to talk about Stringfellows.
I remember it well.
You remember that place?
Yeah. All the 80s Mets and stuff used to go, and the Jets used to go there all the time.
Yeah, it was the place.
It was the place to be seen.
Yeah, it was the place. So I met Greg there once for the first time, Craig, in the VIP lounge. We knew each other because we know each other's families and stuff. I met his father a couple times when I was a kid. And we made eye contact, and somebody introduced us, and then we'd start talking. And we exchanged phone numbers, beeping numbers back then, no cell phones. And we were going to deal some pot because he had a pot connection. Then I met him once. He gave me a sample. It checked out. The price was right. We're going to start moving pot. And this kid was a good kid. Just a good kid, right? And then I hear like a month later, or maybe a couple weeks later, he's missing and they killed him. How I learned about it is I go up to Bones' house one day. He tells me, he said, don't say nothing. He said, Tommy and Billy Bright, they clipped the kid Mark Ryder's son, Craig Ryder. See the look you're giving me?
But for what?
Shaking my head. I'm going, the why? No, it was a deal that went bad, over pot. It wasn't a deal that went bad. What they did was they wanted to take his connection. That's what it was. Greed, So I'm keeping my mouth shut because I'm saying to myself, Bones is kind of like agreeing with them because he's like this with Billy Bright.
Right.
And Billy Bright's like this with Tommy Karate. Me, right away, I'm like, no.
Right.
If anything, I'm with Mark Ryder and the son. Like, in other words, right away, I'm taking their side. But I'm not saying
because the kid didn't deserve it.
Kid didn't deserve it. And the father's a good guy. And the father, what the he was doing, But then Bones is sitting there, like, in other words, Billy, Billy, till today probably. He's got a picture of Billy Bright hanging out on his wall or something. You know what I mean?
He's a fan?
Yeah. They were friends. They're good friends. So me, I'm just shaking my head going, man, this is up, right? But you think about it, Tommy Karate's a made guy. Billy was around him. Tommy goes and kills this kid, right? Now, the kid was probably on record with the Gambinos, but he's not a made guy, so...
Right, the father's not made neither.
No, but anyway, I was upset about it.
But the father's a key player.
I was very upset about it. Very upset about it. I was. Minding my business, none of my business.
Right.
But I was upset about it.
Right. You could be upset all you want, but mind your business.
What had happened was the father finds out. Now, the father, you got to understand, he's there, he's dug in. He's got all, whoever's there first.
He's rooted in, yeah.
If I'm in a joint, if I'm in a penitentiary for 10, 20 years, right, and then you're coming fresh off the street, you're coming in my house. I know everybody there. They know me. These are all lifers. I can get done. If anything, you got to come to me, right? Well, it was like that. He had connections with ABs. He had connections with, Aryan Brotherhood. He had connections with everybody. Well, allegedly, he got a couple of AB guys. He paid them money. And they called Billy Bright in one of the penitentiaries, and they killed him. A true story. They killed him in, I think it was Atlanta or Lewisburg. One of the penitentiaries, they went and stabbed him. So one guy came on the front of him, and the other guy came from behind, and they both stuck him, and they killed him. Now, I believe Mark would have had Tommy killed, but you can't because he's a made guy. Understand? Billy Bright wasn't a made guy.
That's a tough call, though.
You can't kill a made guy.
But he had position and influence to talk to John.
Okay, that makes sense, but still,
for the position that he was in, I mean, he could have got approval because of the fact they killed his son for not an apparent reason.
Bro, no reason. No reason. And you know what I did? I brought it up to Ganji when I was in Farrington. I like this time. I said, you know what, Frank? Out of all the f***ed up things that Tommy did, and a couple things you were involved with, I said, the only thing, I brought up Mark Ryder's son, Craig Ryder. He said, Frank, I wasn't there. I wasn't involved. He swore to me up and down, because I said that, it didn't directly affect me.
It just wasn't right.
No.
Like I said, every now and then you have run into somebody and you have a spot for them because they're just a nice person or a good person. And then to see something bad happen to somebody who's genuinely a good person, a nice person, it's tough. It's just not fair. And, like me, I'm a big believer in fair. You're a big believer in fair. I told you, it's like, it's business. Some people, but not for everybody. Some people just enjoy it. Some people, they're a little over the edge.
I tell you, for a fact, Mark Ryder loved my family. Loved my family. Would have did anything for my family. I wasn't strained out back then. I was hanging around doing my thing, you know. And when Bones confided in me and told me, because nobody knew who did it on the street. But then when he told me, and I'm looking, I'm saying, Frank, that's the father. Bones don't know the history. He didn't know Mark Ryder. He didn't know of the history or nothing. He's just like, best friends with Billy Bright.
Yeah, it was sometimes, that leads, that blind following leads to problems.
And Ganji was a character, to say the least. I was there with him for probably about a year and a half in Farrington. Wind up a storm, great baker. I mean, the kid developed skills like he could bake anything. You'd be shocked. Like, you figure, oh, you're in prison, you can make all these things. He was so creative. He would bake all this stuff. And, so he did the right thing by me and everything. But he was very, very annoying to be around. Just whining every day, talking about this, talking about that, Tommy this, Tommy that. Like, who wants to hear it anymore?
Right.
After a while, you're like, who gives a f***? You know what I mean?
Can't do nothing about it. Just get over it. Yeah.
I tell you another guy that was in the unit with us that sat at our table, because the table that I had in Farrington, was Frank Gangi. So it was me, Frank Gangi, and Johnny Pate. Johnny Pate was a captain with the Columbos. Bro, you talk about funny. Guy had to be maybe 5'2", like a little leprechaun, right? In shape like a little
Sounds like somebody I know.
Mighty Mouse.
Sounds like somebody I know.
Who? Oh.
Who do you know that's about that tall and built like a little bull, like a fire hydrant?
So anyway.
Used to have after hours.
So Johnny Pate, right? All he did was read books. Fiction only. No nonfiction books. Like poetry books, like famous like Shakespeare and Hamlet and all these
classics.
Yeah, classic books. Do that, jog, and calisthenics. That's it. That's all he would do. Read, go jog, put his shoes on and run, and do some whatever push-ups, whatever. He didn't mess with the weights. He just did calisthenics.
Oh, that's what you had to have weights back then.
And he was in great shape for his age. I mean, I'm thinking now he's in his 50s. He was put together. So at our table was me, him, and Frank Gangi. That used to sit there and eat. And then I had like a seat that was open for like a revolving, guys that were
guest.
Yeah.
The guest fell into the week.
But I did probably a year and a half with Gangi. And we sat, we ate, lunch, dinner. If he was working, we both worked in the kitchen. So I would work in the kitchen. So when he was on his shift, obviously he didn't sit down with us. He's working. And vice versa. When I was working, I didn't sit down with them. When I think back, after a while, I said, Frank, you got to get on some meds. Because we sit at the table.
Right. It's
now we're talking
draining.
about a current event or something going on. And all of a sudden it leads back to one of the murders. Who wants to talk about this every day? And the guy was just a nervous wreck. But like a guy who didn't realize his own strength.
Right.
Lifting weights and this, that. The guy didn't realize his own strength, Johnny Pate was so funny. The guy was hysterical, like a character, but a nice guy. I mean, he did what he did and everything. He was nice to do time with because he was very always in a good mood. Everybody had their thing. Everybody had their down days, but he was a nice guy. Do time with Johnny Pate. He made me laugh. And if you see him and Gangi walking together, it was like, because Gangi's like 6'4", and a guy walking 5'2",
Oh, that's fine.
But what joints were you in? You ever pinched?
No.
No, you never got pinched.
Came close a few times. I just got lucky. I don't know. Like I said, I grew up with that thing in my head from my mother of, I didn't help you get in, I ain't going to help you get out. And for some reason, I got lucky. Very close a couple of times. Just timing was on my side. Put it that way.
So now we got to go to...
I spent like 2 hours.
We got to go eat at Bo's place.
Yeah. Yeah, I talked to him yesterday.
How's he doing?
He's doing great. Kyle is doing good. Mercano's doing good. They've got the new places coming online soon.
They're building another one by the new mall over there.
And they're also building next to where Americano is. They're putting in another restaurant in there where Chelsea Social or something used to be.
Yeah.
Across from Luminati's. I can't.
You're not a fan?
No.
Why not?
It's too heavy.
I mean, it's a different,
Now, I'll tell you something. A friend of mine from Chicago tells me that their Italian beefs are better than Portillo's. Okay? Now, just like you, we didn't grow up with Italian beef. People always ask me when I moved, out of New York, oh, they must have good Italian beef there. No, they don't have any Italian beef. Italian beef is a Chicago thing. We got roast beef sandwiches, a.k.a. Brendan and Carr, and Roller Roaster.
Oh, 2 good spots.
Which now they got one in Staten Island. They put the grandson put one under like a different kind of it's called like on a roll, but it's the grill.
On a roll?
Yeah, it's called on a roll, but it's roll and roaster. Same meat, the Pat LaFrida meat, everything.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, but my cousin goes there like he's on a pilgrimage.
I think one of those would do out here.
Depends if you can get the bread stuff. That's the key. Oh, look, it's like White Castles. They opened it up out here. It was insane. You couldn't go near the place for 6 months. Now, there's nobody there.
Yeah. Well, the grand opening. There's people there. They're busy.
Well, yeah, but not like they were. I mean, look,
No.
the first month they'd run out of food almost every day.
Yeah. Well, the hype.
Yeah, but because there were people like us.
Still open 24 hours, though.
Yeah, but you didn't have it for friggin' years, and so when you
I mean, when they first opened up, right? What do you call the suitcase?
yeah, the snack box or whatever.
Whatever it is. They were, not to wait on the line. Guy was coming out with 2 snack boxes. I said it was like $50 back then. I said I'll buy one of them. Well, how? I said you paid. I'll give you 100. Right here. Give me a snack box.
Right. And telling that story. Some guy gave me $100.
But yeah, I remember that. You couldn't even get in there all night long, all day long.
Yeah, no, I used to drive past it. I'd look from the highway, and you could see the drive-through line. I'm like, just keep going. I'd just keep going.
Calm mind. What a good day. I'll see you when I see you, buddy.
See you when I see you.
Appreciate you coming out.
I appreciate you having me.
We're headed back to the same part of town.
Right. Time to go home.
A pleasure coming by, buddy.
Appreciate you having me.
See you next time.